Hey guys, Sonduren Canadian Rider. Today I'm going to be showing you how to store or winterize your motorcycle. So unfortunately winters come in Canada, so I'll be storing my 899 Panigale. But this video is going to be for everybody that needs to store their motorcycle or they're going away on vacation 6 to 8 months or even longer. This is the proper steps on how to make sure that your motorcycle has been prepped and ready. So when you do start the ignition, the next time you come see it, it's going to fire up without a problem. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take a ride to the gas station and fill up your gas tank. You want to fill it up all the way because it's going to avoid any corrosion that's possible with a half-filled tank. Second point I want to make is to fill with ethanol-free gasoline. Ethanol has been kind of linked to some causes of gas tanks expanding over the winter during storage, so let's not even worry about that and just get ethanol-free gasoline, in this case the Shell V-Power. And finally, last reason to go to the gas station is to warm up the motorcycle. We want to get it to peak operating temperature so the engine oil is warm and the chain is warm. Alright, you're back. Your gas tank's fully loaded. Now we're going to be adding fuel stabilizer. What this is basically going to do is make sure the gas doesn't go bad over storage. It's going to go through your fuel system. It's going to keep your gas fresh. Now just find out your motorcycle's fuel capacity and add the recommended amount of stable or fuel stabilizer. Once you put in the fuel stabilizer, you're going to want to run the motorcycle for maybe 2-3 minutes just to get the fuel stabilizer through the entire gas tank. Alright, so to begin, we're going to start doing all the dirty things first. So when I'm talking about the dirty things, we're going to be doing the oil change first and cleaning the chain. Now the reason why we're going to do these first is because A, the engine's warmed up, so your engine oil is ready to come out now, it's nice and warm, and your chain's easier to clean. And it really doesn't make sense to do all that stuff after we've washed the bike and possibly get the bike dirty again. We want to use a motorcycle stand. This is going to make it a lot easier to change the oil, to clean the chain, and to actually wash the bike. Really recommended you use the rear one, and if you got the front one, that's a bonus. So the very first thing we're going to do is change the oil and oil filter. We've also just come back from the gas station, so the oil is nice and warmed up, so it's going to be really easy to drain everything out. There's two main reasons why we do this before storage. Number one is to get all the contaminants out of your old dirty oil out of the bike. We don't want that staying in there inside of the engine for all that time. We want to make sure it's all completely removed with fresh oil. Finally, at this point, you're already probably due for an oil change, so it's better to change it now, and this way you don't have to think about it in the spring. You can just fire it up and you know you have fresh oil inside of your motorcycle. And I'm making sure to also change the oil filter. Guys, you want to make sure if you're changing your oil with fresh, clean oil, you want to get out your dirty old oil filter. I know some people like to reuse the oil filters on motorcycles, but it just doesn't make sense to contaminate your new oil with the old dirty filter. Alright, with the oil change done, now we want to address the chain. Good thing that we rode it to the gas station and back. The chain's a little bit warmed up. It's going to be easier to clean. I've made a video on how to properly clean and lube your chain. But for this scenario, we're actually only going to clean the chain here. And we're going to postpone the lubing until after we're done washing our motorcycle. Now, the reason why we're going to be applying chain lube after we've done washing the motorcycle is because we don't want any of that water or the chemicals that we're going to be using to cut through the chain lube, thus reducing its effectiveness. Finally, all the dirty work's done. Now we're going to make sure we meticulously clean the motorcycle. I've made an in-depth video on this already, and I'll link it up in the video card above, but this is going to go step by step and show you exactly what products you need to use and how to properly use them to make sure you're protecting and washing your motorcycle in the proper fashion. The reason why we do this before storage is that we don't want any contaminants, dust, dirt to really cake on the clear coat. This way we're giving it a good layer of protection with the wax, and it's nice and clean and ready to go for the spring. With the motorcycle completely clean now, we're going to go ahead and apply that very thin layer of chain lube. Remember, earlier we just cleaned the chain, we didn't actually lube it. Here we want to go ahead and lube the chain. And there's an assortment of different chain lubes. Here I'm using Motul C2 chain lube. I think it's a really good one. And I'm just lightly coating the chain here. This is going to be beneficial for the winter storage because it's not going to rust out. The chain's going to be protected by this chain lube, so we'll be good to go for the spring. Great, so a lot of the major things are done now, and we can really start wrapping this up and putting the bike to sleep. So in my scenario here, I only have the rear bike stand, which means I don't have something to take the front wheel off the ground. Now, it's usually generally okay if you just have the rear stand and the front wheel still down, but in this case here, it's never good to put tires on concrete, so I just got a little carpet here, and I'm rolling the front wheel over this carpet, and that's going to prevent any flat spotting on the tire that's possible. Now to take care of your little small friend, the battery. For most motorcycles, if you leave the battery inside while it's in storage, most likely it's going to die. So what we're going to want to do is use a battery tender or a trickle charger. What this does is plugs in into your battery either through one of these universal connectors, and it's going to maintain the charge level of the battery. So it's not going to overcharge it or damage your battery. Actually, from my experience, I've been using this on my multiple cars, on both my bikes. It actually helps improve the life and performance of your battery. So you can get one of these for like $20-$30. I can link to a one that I recommend in the description box below. Highly recommend you do this, or if not, you're going to take your battery out, but I think this is just a way easier application. So if you really love your motorcycle, you're going to tuck it in like you tuck in your kids, under a blanket. Now this blanket has a different name, it's called a motorcycle cover, and I highly recommend you get it for an assortment of reasons. One, it's going to make sure all the dust and everything else that could get kicked up in your garage or wherever you're storing your motorcycle is going to stay off the bike. Two, in a scenario like me where a lot of people are going into the garage during the winter to pick up different stuff, throw out the garbage and whatever, it's going to protect it from people accidentally scratching the bike. You could even go in there, drop a stick or something, it would normally scratch the bike, but the cover will protect it. And a final step, if you also want, you can go ahead and stuff something inside of your exhaust cans. This is to protect it from mice crawling in there or anything else. A lot of people do that. But that's it, guys. That is how you store your motorcycle for winter storage, or if you're going away on a long trip from A to B. Now you're going to have the peace of mind in the spring when you turn on your motorcycle. It's going to look good, it's going to perform great, and you'll be out there on the road. So if you like this video, like it. If you dislike this video, dislike it. And please subscribe to my channel, guys. Again, more great videos coming up. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this. For the people with the unfortunate task of having to store their motorcycle or winterize it, I hope this provided you with a good in-depth analysis and work through of how exactly you're going to do that. In the meantime, keep the rubber side down, and I'll see you guys in my next video.